So the underlying principle that we're facing in today's debate, and this is what we're trying to solve, is the fact that we do have discrimination, okay, towards these children that have ADHD, and I think that has been the consent that we have reached throughout the debate. What we're arguing here is the fact that the problem with why we discriminate against people of another culture is because I don't understand what those people in that culture do. I don't understand why you dress differently, why you do your hair differently, and why you have a different accent. Okay? I think that the reason that I discriminate against a person of another religion is the fact that I don't realize, or I don't practically understand why that person goes about enacting his religion the way that he does, and why he prays the way he does, and why he acts the way he does. Okay? And that's what we were arguing in this state of debate, okay? That we need understanding, and that's what we heard from the side of opening opposition. We need to understand. What we're arguing is to be able to understand what the problem is that these children face and what their disabilities are, if you want to act it like that, if you want to phrase it like that. We need to be able to go and say, hey, let's have a discussion about this. Let's actively get involved and try to understand what you're struggling with, and let's try together to find and solve this problem. Okay, that being said, I have 2 points of rebuttal before I'll get on to my extension. Okay, so, and this is the point that I offered to you, Han, when I made the point now asking the POI, okay? Because that point of, will people or children with ADHD and normal children ever be the same? We're arguing that they'll never be the same, and I think this needs to be analyzed a bit more, okay? Because let's take into consideration that this concept or that this Ritalin actually works, okay, under your model in the harsh circumstances, okay? What's going to happen is you're going to have that child still be different from his classmates, okay? Because he's going to have a damped personality. He's going to have more abilities to concentrate than the rest of his classmates, okay? To concentrate for longer times, okay? He's going to be able, or he's going to be deprived of social skills, not be able to make friends as easily because of this personality that has been damped on him, okay? In lighter cases, or in the instance that the medication doesn't work, okay, you're going to have a child that is still more hyperactive than his classmate, okay, who is still going to struggle to concentrate more than his classmates, okay, who is still going to have a more extravagant personality than the rest of his classmates. So we're arguing that in both instances, whether the medication works or whether it doesn't work, okay, this child is still going to be different from his classmates, okay? And if you don't give them a reason for this difference, they're still going to discriminate against that child under your model. And that's why we're arguing for understanding. This whole solution that they brought us about telling the child when he's 18 that he still has this ADHD, okay? That's still not going to solve discrimination, okay? Because at the end of the day, that person is still not going to be able to concentrate as well as he should. Is still going to have an extravagant personality in a sphere of work where he still has to concentrate and still has to be able to focus, okay? So you're still going to have discrimination against your model, and therefore it isn't functional. No, thank you. Then we heard this whole thing that they'd rather tell people that this is a personality disorder than this person having a disease, okay? In this age that we're living in, when a person has a disease and we don't have a reason to explain this disease, okay, what do? We take time to actually focus on that, like for AIDS, okay? We search for solutions for that. We try to understand the disease. We try to find cures for that, okay? We try to actively understand and make a difference and understand that disease. What's going to happen under your model when we said that this person's personality is different, okay? You're going to harsher discrimination. Because now there's not something wrong with the child because of a disease, okay? Now there's just plain something wrong with the child, okay? And that is so much more of a discrimination, or for people, so much more incentive for these first people to discriminate against this child, because now they can actively say that there's something wrong with this child. And that is not the form of discrimination that we like at all. Like, if you could choose between discrimination.
Okay. So, whether the medication works for them or it doesn't work for them is not dependent on them knowing that they have ADHD or not. That doesn't affect their hormonal imbalance, the fact that they know they have this.
Cool, Michelle, but what I was telling you that is because I said that whether the medication works or whether it doesn't work, okay, at the end of the day, that child is still going to be different than his classmates, and they're still going to discriminate against the child. So that doesn't solve that. But then in answering your point, the fact that the child does or doesn't know, okay, I'm going to get to that in my arguments. But what we're saying is, when that child actively knows, okay, I can't take in as much sweets or red cool drink as the rest of my classmates, okay, then he can actively go out and say, I shouldn't take in as much sweets and red cool drink as my children because it's going to impair my abilities to focus, to concentrate, and to be the person that I actively can be. And therefore we're saying his ability will better when he actively can know that this is what's damaging towards me, and I can actually look at solving this. Now this is our extension. That's what they were telling you, knowing that I shouldn't eat as many sweets. That was opening told you. What we're going to be telling you is, when this person, okay, knows why he or doesn't know why he's not able to know and eat as many sweets, okay? Or why he isn't able to eat or drink as many red cool drink, and why what is happening to him, okay? When his parents constantly have to lie to him about why he can't take in as many of these things, okay? That is a problem because that increases tension, okay? That increases tension between children and parents. And if we feel anything in these developmental years that you've been speaking of so frequently, okay, that is that the influence that parents have in a child's life is so much more than the influence that his friends, okay, or that his schooling system can ever have on his life. That literally focuses and literally it tells us what type of child, it like shapes the child, okay? Because he literally spends the whole of his day in his parents, okay? It literally shapes his personality and where he grows up and how he grows up, because the parent has that much of a strong influence in that child's life. So where you could have a parent who constructively tries to be a part of his child's life, okay? Who constructively makes an effort to be involved and to motivate his child to achieve more and to explain his difficulties to this child and to partake in trying to help this child to achieve better, okay? Or you could have had that under our model, have this open discussion, okay, between a child and a parent. Yeah, and this open discussion and then constantly working together, okay, to try and find a solution, okay? Now you're going to have a child who finds out later, okay? And what's going to happen then? This child's going to feel like his parents are ashamed of him, okay? Like he had something to hide from the rest of society because he's ashamed of this child, okay? He's scared to admit that his child has ADHD and he is afraid to deal with that fact, okay? And we feel that that is so much more damaging towards that child, okay? We also feel that it's going to harm this relationship because you're going to have this constant tension because a parent has to constantly lie to his child, okay? When his child asks, why am I struggling at school? Why can't I take in as many red cool drink or sweets? And we feel that harms the relationship that there should be between a parent and a child. That one relationship where a parent shouldn't discriminate against a child, but the rest of society, as you've mentioned, will always find a reason to discriminate. You're going to be harming the one person, the relationship that he has with that one person, his father or his mother, okay? Those people who will or should not discriminate against him. And that we're saying is so much damaging to that child if you harm that one relationship. And that's what our extension was. This fact that we should be on this interaction that there is between a parent and a child, and that benefit you could have if you had open discussion between them. So we're saying that you can't be successful if you act like you don't have ADHD. We're saying you should be able to be successful even if you do have it.
Yeah.